something that's been blowing up my news feeds lately is kind of annoying, and it demonstrates a profound ignorance that everybody seems to have. So, children at the border of the United States are getting separated from their families. Everybody's aware of this, everybody knows this. It's all over the news feeds. It's a terrible atrocity, to say the least. I mean, separating anybody from their families is kind of a fucked up thing. But that's really not the issue. The issue that I have is everybody's blaming Trump for this. When everybody decides to blame Trump, the problem is it's not his fault. Unfortunately, he just happened to enforce the laws that are already on the books. So what does that tell you? How does a law get made? Did everybody forget that stupid skit they did in the 70s with the bill on Capitol Hill? The little animated bill trying to become a law? Did everybody forget that process? This is Civics 101. Should it be taught in elementary school, to be honest, if not junior high. So why did nobody pay attention on how things work in our government? That drives me insane. The books that, or the laws that have been on the books since 2002, I believe it was, in 1996, is the other one. Links in the description on both because I've used them to argue with numerous people on Twitter. But essentially, those two laws make it so border agent, once the parents have been arrested for illegal immigration, crossing the border illegally without proper documentation or permission, for that matter, once they've been detained, then the child becomes unaccompanied. And once they're unaccompanied, they must also be detained. And at that point, they're separated from their family. So it's already too late. That's kind of how the law works right now. It's disgusting. Trump was trying to use this as leverage, no doubt. He's an idiot, to say the least. People aren't leverage. So him doing this, I'm not surprised. A moron would do it, in other words. And then you have people like the ultra diehard Trump did nothing wrong idiots that try to say that, oh, well, Obama did it too. Why didn't you pay attention to them? Where was the selective outrage for that? That's not the issue either. These laws go back to Bush Jr. He's the one that signed it and approved it to have it go through. I mean, who kind of an ignoramus seems to think that it's president's fault that these laws exist? He didn't write the laws. He was trying to use it for political power, political clout, make Congress look like a jackass. The problem is the media is against him too. So the only ones that are for him are Fox News, and their arguments are piss poor and stupid, unfortunately, because they're just trying to defend Trump. That's a dumb idea. Don't defend his stupidity. And then CNN has no problem throwing eggs and throwing shit, or whatever you want to call it, at Trump and blaming the whole damn thing on him. Well, they're both wrong. This is Congress's fault. See, the thing is, midterm elections are up this year. Many of these people that are going to be local government, Congress people, are up for re-election in many states across the United States, and all of them are also using these children as political tools. That's the thing I find disgusting. So instead of taking the onus, the blame, which Congress should do, because in order for a bill to become law, it has to go through Congress and the House first, meaning they need to go through committee, they need to go, I'll vote on it, then it goes to the president to either sign or veto, and then it goes, if he vetoes it, then it has to go back to Congress to be rediscussed and then signed into law, because they can revise it or whatever and send it back. So that's how it's supposed to work. Not a single congressperson that I know of, except for I think Ted Cruz has something out, and I don't trust that guy's judgment. But it's on them. They've done nothing. They've had the immigration issue for what, a year now? Maybe 6 months? I mean, DACA was repealed earlier, I believe this year. and no one lifted a finger to fix it. That's an executive order. It's not a law. It can be flipped when the new power comes into play. And since Republicans are now in the highest seat, meaning any executive order can be overturned, including ones that say Washington did if they felt like it. Any executive order, if it wasn't later become canon, become law, then it can be overturned. So DACA was pointless. It was useless. It wasn't a law. Even Obama said, if you want immigration reform, propose a bill, write a law. Congress is not doing their job. That is my point. That is my problem. All these ones that are up there throwing shit at Trump, blaming Trump for this problem, blaming Trump, that's saying that he's the one that's separating families and other shit like this. Not a single one that I know of is lifting a finger to propose a bill, to write a law that would fix this, that would overturn and correct the stupidity that's in the two laws on the books right now. Not a single one, except for, I think, Ted Cruz. And that's pretty sad, because that weasel should never be trusted to do anything right, considering the video that we have him trying to kiss his kid, and she's like, "Ew, don't touch me." Yeah, that guy's creepy, to say the least. But yeah, let me tell you that if you want to blame somebody, start blaming Congress. They're clouding, they're picking sides, they're fighting amongst each other, and everybody seems to think it's okay to point at the scapegoat, the president, because he can do an executive order to stop this one thing, and everything will be fine. Once again, the law's still on the books. Fix the law. In order for that to happen, Congress needs to get off their ass and write something that would fix the law. They need immigration reform. Not a single congressperson that I know of has lifted it up a damn finger to make this happen. They're all too worried about getting their funding this year because they're being reelected. So, I think the onus is on us, really, when it comes down to it, the United States citizen, that we need to get up, we need to call our congressman, or congressperson, congresswoman, whatever, and tell them, if you don't propose an immigration reform that fixes this family atrocity, if you don't propose a way to get into this country legally without having to shell out $20,000, $30,000 to make it reality, that the cap on visas is retarded and needs to go away, that you need to quit messing with people's families, especially people that come here to work, because you feel the need to close the borders, something that was done in World War I, I believe, long ass time ago. They need to write something to fix it. If they don't want to write something to fix it, and they don't do it before their term is up at the end of the year, they will not be getting your vote. If you want to blame somebody for all this shit, why don't you blame yourself? I've already written to Ted Cruz, the atrocity that is, and everybody else that's in Texas, telling them, look, this is unacceptable. I want to see immigration reform. I want to see a reform. I want to see a bill proposed, and I want to see it done this year, before your re-election, or else you're not getting my vote. Period. I will vote for the next guy. And either he will do it, or he will not be sitting in that seat for very long. Now, I'm able to throw my title around a little bit. It kind of gets you some reputation, some credibility, which is weird. Anecdotal evidence aside, I wrote, when I was in Utah, I wrote to my senator asking about a question, and I didn't get a response. But then I wrote the same email and put doctor on my title in the email, and I got a phone call. I know that's anecdotal evidence, and it's kind of bizarre, but it does seem to allude to that titles carry weight. So those that are doctors and those that are higher up in the food chain when it comes to education or whatnot, maybe you're an executive at an oil company, or executive at maybe you're the CNO, what is it, the corporate nurses officer or something like that at a hospital. Write to your congressman. Call them. Tell them to do their goddamn job. Tell them to pass a law, and we're not going to take any more of this bullshit. tell the fake news, the CNN, the NBC, the mainstream media in general, that they need to stop with their bullshit. It's not Trump's fault. He's just enforcing the law. If you don't like the law, it needs to change. Who does that? Congress. It doesn't take that much thought to put this together. And for all these people are going through with their families getting separated at the border, I have some personal experience with since DACA was revoked, people were sent home that were on my team that I really needed, and it's just disgusting. There's no other word for it. It's messed up. It's not right. It needs to be fixed. And the only people that can do that at this point is Congress. So, midterm elections, if they don't propose a bill this year, and you let them know if they don't do anything this year to fix this stuff, because an executive order ain't going to fix this. If they don't do anything at all, and they just continue to point the finger at Trump and blame Trump, like Maxine Waters does, for example, they won't be having a job by the end of the year. So that's all I got for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. It's my personal opinion on it, and I've been fighting with people all over Twitter with this because it's true. This is the law. It's a shitty law. Fix it. So hopefully somebody will listen to this and go, yeah, that's probably a good idea. And then hopefully things will get fixed. Thank you for your time.
Do it again.